I'll be honest, I still don't know. Okay, well, I'll leave the S in there just in case then. Proximity sensor. Do I need a proximity sensor on a passenger ship? The passenger ship is only going to be going between places. A mining station and a resort base may be out in the middle of nowhere by themselves, so a sensor makes sense. Does having a proximity sensor on a tiny little ship mean anything? Probably not when the range is only 1 million. I'm going to take that off. And I'm going to put on there a target tracking system instead. They might not be able to see something coming in on long-range scanners, but once it's within visual range, they're going to be able to shoot it better. So the passengers should be happy about that at least. Movement 22 engines doesn't need to be upgraded. Why target tracking? Because it does have a weapon. Honestly, if I had like countermeasures, I would use that instead. Trace scan power, jump tracking, scan range. Like, this thing basically allows me to see where things are going, from what I can tell. Oh yeah, proximity sensors actually don't do what they indicate. They make you able to track jumps and give... Oh, when you say give tracking, what do you mean by give tracking? In before Reavers, yes. Hey, Volvy Knight, how you doing, mate? And Gold Dragoon as well. Thank you both for the support. Hello, Aavak. It's been a while since I caught a stream live. How are things? Things are doing okay, mate. Things are doing okay. Things are actually doing better than okay, I would say. Some others give tracking stats, which is plus... Right, okay, yeah. Tracking allows you to see ships. I'm fair. I have never seen a scenario where not having a sensor has made a ship unable to see things attacking it or to attack back. Trace scan allows you to see the ship designs or their cargo, and jump tracking lets you see where they go to. Seeing a ship present in a system comes from the ship itself or a long-range sensor. Yeah, because having long-range sensors and stuff allows me to see ships nearby that haven't even entered the system yet. But once they're there, pretty much everyone can see them. Fire by Trial, thank you very much for the 11 months. Well, almost 12 minutes. How did this happen? 12 minutes? Oh, 12 months. 12M, yes. I was 11. It's been more than 12 minutes, at least by my clock. Stealth can be stronger than Trace, like Vorticars have, so you can see them at shorter range. Right, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So stealth would help with that. Without proximity, you won't see ships in the same system. Remy, that is fine, because like I said, a passenger ship is doing one thing. It's going from somewhere to somewhere. It isn't itself, like, it's not going to a planet that doesn't have something already on it, and it's not going to a... like it's going to a like a station or something. And generally my stations, because if they are going to operate independently, which almost all bases do, or could do, then having sensors on it would help. You can see them. A ship in a system can see stuff in its own system with no sensors. Remy and Aero disagree very strongly on this. They disagree very strongly on being able to see things in their system. But yeah, that's actually a good point, Star Mage. Exploration ships usually have an exploratory sensor and a resource scanner. Does it have anything? Like, is there anything on the proximity says scan power, so that doesn't have anything, and they would also have survey. So unless survey has scan power, then my exploration ships should never be able to see ships in a new system that they're exploring, but they always can. Like, they can jump into a system and see enemies on different planets than the one that they're on. But that could be just a false memory. But we can always check that out. I think my exploration ships don't have that kind of stuff on them, so I'll jump in and we'll have a look if you'd like. That way we can for science it live, in front of a live studio audience. It's always the best kind of for sciencing. Honestly, there's no point in having a tracking system either. Well, actually, would this benefit from it? I guess it would. Yeah, it would. Let's keep our point defense system. Sorry, wrong thing. As accurate as it can be. They don't see the whole system. It's like half or 1/4. Oh, okay. I understand. But it still wouldn't matter to the ship then. But okay, that's good to know. Buffy Knights just gifted a sub to 221T. Was that for the Tumblr reference or just random? I hope it was for the Tumblr reference, because that is premium quality internet memes right there. Right, what's our range? 690. I don't think we need that kind of range on this. I would much rather have a basic recreation center on here. I can't fit it, probably. Well, that is deeply sad. I'm sorry, I wanted to give you a holodeck, but you can't have a holodeck. You don't deserve one, apparently, unless... I could make you slow. Does it matter if you're not fast? Is an important question. I could give you a directional thrust. You can turn quickly, aim in the direction you want to jump to, and jump. But in terms of actually, you know, moving forward under impulse, not so fast. I think this is fine. Yeah, this is targeting plus 10%, so I'm assuming that this will... If nothing else, it'll counteract any countermeasures. Now then, do not engage. Evade. Evade. Run when there are any enemies at the... What is nearby? That's so vague. There are enemies at the same location of it. Evacuate, but don't necessarily do it if there are enemies at the same system, because there might be something in an asteroid belt that you're not going to. Sure, the engine arrays aren't silly. They shouldn't be silly. We should be good. There you are. Nearby is the opposite of far away. Duh. Sarion, you scallywag. Most targeting doesn't stack. Oh, really? Let's have a look at weapons. Targeting, plus 20% right now. If I drop that, down to 10%. So we're good. It is actually doing something. Okay. Dunk. Mining ship up next. It's 122 maintenance there. So, mining ship. This will be ore. I also... Oh, let me just double check something. What size of mining ship is it? What size can I make? 445. So it's probably a 450. Medium mining ship. Yeah, different component stack. Just this, oh, right. So 2 targeting computers wouldn't give me 20%. Right, I get you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much for clarifying there. It's very kind indeed. Diolch yn fawr. Right. Mining ships, though. Mining ships will go somewhere where I am not already present. Probably. Because I've not got a base there. That's why the mining ship is there. So I sort of feel like a proximity sensor might be useful for them. Yeah, I think having a proximity sensor on a mining ship makes sense. I can't strip one of these, sadly. What's our range? That range is... I don't know, actually. A mining ship might benefit from going very far away. But the further away it goes, the less likely it is to be able to be protected. So it's a tricky one. I could drop a fuel cell and instead replace it with a directional thruster to give us a little bit of extra countermeasure. It's only +3 though, so it's scarcely worth it. G-Man number 99 and Marla's Folly, thank you both for the resubs. Diolch fawr iawn. See, this is going to gather how much? 30 resources a second, and it can store 1010. So it's really not going to have much time wherever it gets before it needs to turn around again. So I would sort of feel like giving it less range and more cargo would be a better option. If I drop another fuel, that's going to drop us... Ooh, that's actually quite low. Because obviously I kind of want these to go far and gather items. Okay, after doing my first sciencing, it's not completely conclusive due to issues with getting a gain with the right scientists and stations, but it appears not to make any difference to skill gain as to if the scientist is on a station that matches their field or not. Scientists just gain EXP based on the category of tech you finish researching at a rate dependent on their skill level. It takes longer to level up at higher levels in the skill. They have to be on a station to gain skill though. Thank you very much for that, Malakin. I'm gonna say this doesn't even have any defensive weapons. It's worrisome. But I'm gonna drop the sensor on it. I want the range, but this will fit. It'll have a little bit more time out while it's gathering. This way. I think that's a better overall design for it. So let's go with that. And then the small freighter. Let's go ahead and upgrade you. Now, what were the names of ships? Let's have a look. Ah, freighter isn't present on that. That's a shame. I was hoping that it would have the abbreviations for them, but apparently no. Much sad. Very much sad. But I'm certain there is something like that. Cargo, maybe? Let's see. Okay, I've got a list of things. Yeah, cargo ships. Apparently it's AK. Is a definition for a cargo ship. Alright, well it's a small cargo ship. But... we could just go up, because FR is too close to too many other things. But let's have a look at the design first and foremost. Got point defense. We've got a little thruster, that's fine. Honestly, this is probably all we're going to need from it. It's got great range. Because, well, FR could be for freighters and FT could be for fighters. FRS would do. And save it. Dunk. There we go. Civilian ships are done. State bases. We've got the small spaceport. Let's upgrade you. Now you're going to have a... Probably... Actually, you're not going to have that much. You're a little bit too tight on space. A proximity sensor around the spaceport. Since this is always going to be built around a planet, I don't really think we need that, but maybe. But for now, I think I'm going to replace that with a targeting system. I don't have long-range scanners, unfortunately. Not CRG. We could go with CRG. We could go with CRG, actually. Manual fleets really don't need scanners or sensors, or better to make one ship type only have short-range sensors and the bulk of your ships use that space for weapons or defenses. However, trace scanners offer a nice targeting and damage bonus for only 5 space. They also double as sensors without the jump tracking, and they only work close up. Okay, thank you very much for the info there. Hey oh my, how you doing? Hello chat, and a quick question. It's totally normal to try and figure out what kind of damage type a nuke would do in Pathfinder, right? Yes. We'll go with yes. It's also completely normal for Noin's character to die of a hitherto unknown malady. No one knew about it, no one knew to protect against it. He just took one for every team simultaneously and dropped dead. That also happens. However, I think CRG will use may as well. It seems like a good one. I shouldn't have. Balls. I shouldn't have gone for an update. I should have just edited it since there aren't any versions of that. But there we are. Right, state bases. So, spaceport. This is a. Well, this is more of a military spaceport. So I would say it's a dock more than anything else. It's a small version of it, though. It's also a station. We need something that references docks. A military dock of some sort. Let's have a look. What would we use for that? Medium MSD? What? MSD? What would that? Anchorage? Yeah, but I need like an abbreviation. So it's nice and easy for us to do. What would be the abbreviation for a dock? Port. No, that is actually not a bad choice, actually, since that is literally all it's doing. It's just most likely to be fairly military focused. Research lab is on there. I could pop the research lab off, honestly. And then build research labs around the place. I kind of like that idea, though. If I take this off, it's going to complain, but we've got enough research labs around the place that it'll just allow us to get better versions of research labs up. Yeah, let's drop that off. It's going to say that I should add a research lab, but I like the idea of having a separate research base at each planet, if possible. This also gives me more room to make this more of a military station. You can't freely build stations as far as I know. Not just randomly out in space, but if a place has a research bonus, then I would rather build a research station there than have that taken up by the spaceport. Only planet star bases have the slot that's big enough for a research lab. Ah, yes, but there's very few research deposits. Oh. So, well, I guess so, and this is also picking up the benefit anyway. And you know what? We're harping on about this, but we came to the conclusion that it didn't matter, that it was a global bonus anyway. So it doesn't actually matter what I put there. Right, we've got a bunch of ion bombs on this thing, and point defense, and nothing else. Which doesn't help out too much. Let's go for weapons. Grab a particle beam. I'm sort of thinking of having particle beams on here instead of these. Like one there, one there. Gives us a little bit of room still to play with. We've not got very much defenses here. A starfighter bay wouldn't fit, sadly. But I could have a targeting system and then add on a little bit of extra defenses. Let's go with 2 extra armor. There we go. It's not a lot, but that being said, I could choose not to have the armor and instead have the Maxos blasters, which might be a nice idea. Yeah, sure. That gives us a little bit more punch at this station. Oh, yeah, big one. Armor doesn't stack? You're joking. Hull reactive rating, armor rating is 144. I'll take that off. Armor rating is 72. Are you sure armor doesn't stack? Because it seems to be implying it does. Are you absolutely sure on that one? Because it is literally updating the design. Armor does stack its hit points, but the damage reduction, etc. does not stack. Ah, right. So that's fine. The hit points is more than enough for this. I'm okay with that one. So it's the reactive rating you're talking about. So where was that again? Reactive rating of 4. So if I remove that, it's still going to be 4 because something else is giving me that. What is giving me that reactive rating though? It's not you. I would have thought it would have been. I am the new... Oh, wow. The new Distant Worlds 2 dev. I can look. That would be fantastic, Tyler. Thank you for the offer. Reactive rating is a different type of armor. You get reactive armor later tech. Okay. Hashtag dev in chat, yeah. Finally, all your questions can be answered. Oh, no. DW2 Tyler. There's going to be a flood. I have a lot of work to do. Yeah, so chat, don't flood the dev. Answer all of the things. Oh, just hail. That was very kind of you. Yeah, we'll just use the armor defense there. I think that's good enough for now. Like the armor hit points, rather. But damage repair, damage reduction, shield recharge rate, shields. Oh, is that true of shield recharge rate? Oh, reaction from the deflector. No, that's nothing. Recharge rate is 0.6. That seems to be adding up. Oh, right. So there is a reason to turn off latest per category, just so you can fit in some smaller but lower tech items. That makes a lot of sense, actually. We've only got 6 space to spare, though, so it's probably not going to work for us. But I could just have a look at what I could stick in there. Yeah, there's nothing that would fit, but that's quite cool to know. Type by category, go back to latest per category. I think this station is good enough. It's a bit punchy. It's not amazing, but I don't need to worry too much about fuel cells, I'm going to say, on this station, simply because it will pull from the kind of the planetary energy reserves, I should imagine. Bodugok, hey mate, thank you very much for the 17 months. Okay. I think that's good enough. Though, that being said, actually, you know what, since Aero was saying it, we could squeeze in an extra shield generator, since the stats of the shield generator definitely do seem to stack. The shield recharge rate would be very nice. Losing 72 armor rating. I'm assuming the armor rating is literally the hit points. So I'm halving the armor rating to get a bit more shields, but I'm increasing the shield recharge rate. We'll go with that. So there we are. And then the research station. Small fighter bay, docking bay. This could be built out by itself, so it makes sense to have. Armor rating isn't hit points. I think there's a null value somewhere. Oh, okay. Let me just go back and have a look at what you're saying. Armor rating is reactive rating. Or rather, reactive rating is a different type of armor. So what is reactive rating then when it comes to armor? Hull reactive rating is 2. Armor rating is 144. Reactive armor rating is 3. Hull size is 225. So what does it mean then when it says armor rating, I guess, is probably the best way to frame that question. If I see armor rating of 72 versus armor rating of 144, is there actually a benefit to seeing the number bigger? Oh, sorry, hull, not null. Right, okay. I do far too much with programming to think that null is ever a mistyped word. I might not be able to work out what it was meant for in the context, but I'll usually just accept that that was the word that was meant. The thing about railguns is they do low strike damage, so having any armor will almost nullify railguns, since they no longer do significant hull damage. Right, okay. But yeah, we'll just upgrade this to 2. I'm not going to have... I'm just going to call this a science station. We'll always be building the best science station we've got, so I don't need to know the stats of it. Okay, Star Mage is throwing it into relatively simple terms here. Ooh. Nightbot, you scallywag. Let me get you a quick... Actually, I'll just grab it. Yoink. There we go. I'm just going to repaste it for you. There we are. That's what Tyler just pasted there. Dev censored by Nightbot. Nightbot thinks they rule the world. Maybe Nightbot does, actually. Give it enough time. I think this breaks down armor hull pretty good. Okay, I'm just going to bring up that forum post. Right. Chat. Let's see. Armor is struck by weapons fire when shields are fully depleted, or when a weapon is a railgun and it bypasses the shields. So if a weapon has a positive percentage shield bypass, then it might get through the shields and hit stuff inside. When the weapon is a gravity beam or gravity area weapon, these gravity weapons completely bypass both shields and armor. Ooh, duly noted. Phaser weapons are also better at penetrating armor. The reactive rating is effectively halved when a phaser strikes it, thus allowing easier destruction of the armor. Armor protects other components from damage. The only instance where other components should be damaged before armor is in the case of a hit from a gravitic weapon, which bypasses armor. Gravitic weapons damage components randomly once they hit, and they can damage armor as well as normal components. No other weapon types completely bypass armor. By design, all other weapon types must first destroy armor before any damage occurs on the components. Okay, so gravitic weapons are a big jump through. That's fantastic. When weapons fire strikes armor, there may be damage to the armor when the remaining weapon strength exceeds the reactive rating of the armor component, i.e. the weapon is powerful enough to penetrate the reactive rating of the armor. If the remaining weapon strength is less than or equal to the armor reactive rating, then there is a small chance that the armor will be breached. The actual chance depends on the ratio of remaining weapon strength to the reactive rating of the armor, but is never more than 20%. So, if a weapon does less damage than the reactive rating of the armor, then depending by how much less, it may still get through, but there's never going to be a greater than 20% chance. So there'll never be more than 1/5 chance that it'll be able to punch through the reactive rating, or rather the reactive component of the armor. If the reactive rating of the armor is penetrated, then there is a random chance that the armor component will be destroyed, i.e. damaged component. The actual chance depends on the ratio of standard rating of the armor component to the remaining weapon damage amount, but is never less than 10%. Okay, so there's always going to be a 10% or more chance that the armor will be damaged by something that slipped through the reactive rating. But that is then based on the actual armor rating. So in this case, 144. The armor damage is in two phases. Penetrating the reactive rating of the armor, maximum 20% chance for weapons with insufficient power. Actually damaging the armor component, always at least 10% chance. Some equations. For phases, damage equals remaining phases, blah, blah, blah. We'll just skip over that. Using the above equations, against standard armor level 1, Maxus Blaster from range 100 strikes target with remaining strength of 4, armor reactive rating 2 reduces the damage to 2. The chance to destroy the armor component is 20%. Armor standard rating equals 10, damage of 2 divided by 10. So right, okay. So it straight up destroys the armor component itself. This is where I was being very, very silly. Because I was thinking of armor like a resource. Think of it like a battery. A battery of a resource which has to be fully depleted before damage to the internal components of the ship could be applied. And that every shot that exceeded the reactive rating of the armor simply reduced the armor, like let's say the armor rating here, which was 144, by that amount. Until it was eventually 0 and then all damage passed through. But here, it seems that like here there's a 20% chance to destroy the armor component is 20%. So the whole component, regardless what the rating is. So here, like armor standard rating was 10. So we're just using these numbers, even though they don't quite match up to the numbers here. So the armor rating of 10, but 2 damage got past the reactive rating. So it had a 20% chance of just taking that whole armor piece out. I hope that I am getting that correctly, that I understand it. Just make sure you note that that breakdown is from Distant Worlds 1. Mostly it's still a price. Okay. So the underlying formula hasn't changed too much. Erolfos says, my real-world understanding is that ships with high-tech armor, like high armor rating, are impervious to smaller ships with worse weapons. That makes sense. If you can break through their shields and shield regenerate, it's then a simple question of damage if a weapon set will chew through armor or do effectively nothing. Right, so it's generally going to be better have some armor, and I think later on there's armors with different kind of stats, like ion reinforced arms and stuff. So if I understand this, and this is just a hypothetical, so, you know, just say, yes, that's right, or no, it's not. And we'll move on because I've spent so much time on it now. But let's say I had a high-tech ship. And there's two bits of armor, one that just gives a high reactive rating, and one that has, like, ion defense, or some sort of other armor rating of that sort, or whatever. I'd have one instance of both of those armors so that those armor defenses are represented in amongst the kind of damage mitigation that's on the ship, and then everything else in shields. Right, okay. This is fantastic news, my lord. Feels like I'm understanding, said the chat. If that feels like information that I should, like, I should make some sort of video on YouTube. 5 things I wish I knew when I was playing Distant Worlds 2. And I'd put big arrows in the thumbnail and everything. It would be grand. Let's bring this up. Is it in the question mark? That's a good point. Is it in the tour? Let's see if it goes through. Ship design bays. Energy, engines, armor. Let's see. Weapons, armor, defense. Armor shields, damage control. External bays. External bays markers, don't need to know about that. Design overview. Oh god, not the arrows! Reject the arrows! No. Is Aavak becoming a normie YouTuber? Probably not, because I wouldn't have a call to action in the first 30 seconds. I also wouldn't have, you know, random swish pop-up like little things popping up all the way through the thing reminding people to like, share, and subscribe. Also, the intro would probably be about 8 minutes long, where I would mostly just talk about how much I enjoyed the game. So I think we're safe from it, but the thumbnail game, that's less resistant. I think there's more danger with there. Code design info. Actually, let's start through this. Design overview. There are many sections of the design. Recommended. Next is recommendation button. Shows summary of warnings. Core design information. Outlines the design current layer. Rating. Rating section summarizes data about the design in 4 key areas: attack strength, defense strength, speed, and maneuvering, and scanners. Oh, speed and maneuvering is one thing. I was like, hang on, that's 5. But no, okay. Hover over each value for a breakdown of the factors that contribute to the rating in each area. Okay. Energy, also graphs outlining the energy. It's important value to reactor energy generation rate per unit of fuel. This shows the efficiency. It also shows movement. Also shown here is the hyperdrive jump range. Weapons defense. The defense section shows shield, armor, and damage repair values for the design. Hovering over the shield and armor graphs reveals further information. Also shown are the boarding defense strength. Okay, so it doesn't really talk too much about it. See if there's anything else. Tactical settings. Don't need to learn, save, and exit. So it doesn't really go into that now. Oh, no VPN ads? No, we're not going to be advertising NordVPN. Sorry, I know. I just feel that it's a slippery road. You start out with something functional and possibly even useful for people like NordVPN, and the next thing you know, you're advertising Raid Shadow Legends. There's really no in between. It's a natural progression from one to the next. Okay. Well, that is super, super useful info, though. Crazy useful info. Oh, actually, Tyler, while you're here, there's one... I think this is answered, like, fairly conclusively on the forums with dev posts, but there are still so many, like, new instances, especially on Reddit, where, like, this question seems to come up all the time. So if you happen to know, I'm not asking you to go looking in the code, because honestly, it's not worth your time, but if you do happen to know off the top of your head, in Distant Worlds 2, does the distance from the stun still impact how effective the energy collectors are? So in Distant Worlds 1, it did. In Distant Worlds 2, it seems that there are two very firm camps. Yes, it does greatly. There we go. We have now got a solid dev answer. Or it should. Oh no! We've got ambiguity once again. That's it. Riots in the streets. It's the only thing we can do. Apparently we've got first contact. How the heck have we got first contact? What? Huh. We've discovered an independent colony of Wekarus. The Wekarus are naturally slightly hostile towards us, but initial communications have been catastrophically bad, and we asked them to be our slaves. Again, why do we keep doing this? You'd think after the first 2 times that we accidentally invited someone to be our slaves, we'd have been really extra super caught. Why have I... What? You've also discovered humans. Hang on a second, let me just go out here. Please be paused. I'm doing important jobs. I had to post it, yes. I was in the designer. Well, I assume I was in the designer without it being paused. Does being in the designer not pause the game? Because it pauses it here, I'm fairly certain. Let me just have a look. So if I bring this up. Yeah, it says it's paused there. Huh. Alright. We'll come back to this in a moment. Damn it. Game! Alright, let's go back to the research station. But that's super useful to know. So the energy collectors... So there is a use to have energy collectors above the stated amount. Like, otherwise, you know, because if you happen to be building your base on the very edge of a system, it's going to be a little bit less... or rather, there's a potential that it won't be pulling in enough energy from the solar collectors to cover its full energy use. You know what, Tyler? Chat, you're responsible now for reminding me to double check this. Okay, I will double check if this was paused when I went into the designer, because I record it locally and then I put it up on VODs on Aavak After Hours. So I will double check after the stream and I will let you know. Because it's probably way too far back for a clip now to grab it. Though that being said, Road Train is rather good at it, so maybe Road Train will be able to find that for us. Right, we're gonna drop that. We're gonna pop on a new bit of shielding there. Again, these can be built far enough away that I think a proximity sensor makes sense. But knowing that energy collection rate is now adjusted by distance from the star, and also I don't know if like the stars themselves have energy ratings like in Distant Worlds 1, like some stars put out more energy than others. But it is good to know that having like an overshoot of static energy is not a bad thing. That in worst case scenario, it's going to blunt the damage loss from the energy loss from being far away from the sun. That's cool. It's nice to know it's not wasted. Is there anything I actually want to put on here, though? Kind of feel that a blaster would be better. Just a little bit too shy to be able to put 2. I could drop the fuel cell, but I kind of like the idea of them having plenty of fuel, so...